Machu Picchu is the most impressive living testimony of Inca civilization.
What we don't see is that 60%.
In 2025, the world stood still when researchers revealed something extraordinary about Machu Picchu. For over a century, this ancient city of stone, perched high in the Peruvian Andes, had been celebrated as one of the greatest achievements of human engineering. Tourists, archaeologists, and historians alike marveled at its walls, temples, and terraces, all seemingly impossible creations given the tools available to the Incas in the 15th century. But new technology, ground-penetrating radar, and advanced scanning methods exposed something no one had ever imagined. It was long believed that Machu Picchu's genius lay in its stonework above the ground. The blocks fitted so precisely without mortar, the staircases carved into mountainsides, and the terraces that transformed impossible slopes into fertile farmland. Yet what researchers uncovered was far more astonishing. Potentially up to 60% of Machu Picchu is not above ground at all. It is underground. Hidden beneath the mountain, deep within the rock, is an elaborate foundation system that has remained unseen for centuries. What archaeologists once considered mere drainage channels or natural rock formations now appears to be a deliberate and complex structure. Some scans even suggest the existence of chambers sealed beneath the city, rooms that the Incas may never have intended outsiders to discover. For years, experts believed Machu Picchu's survival was due to its brilliant stonework alone. But this new revelation forces us to confront a chilling possibility. The city's endurance may have come at a shocking cost. What exactly were the Incas hiding beneath their most sacred site? And why, after constructing such a masterpiece, did they abandon it without leaving a trace? High in the Andes Mountains of Peru, Machu Picchu rests like a crown upon the ridges of a steep, mist-shrouded valley. It rises nearly 2,430 meters above sea level, perched between two towering peaks, Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu. Below, the Urubamba River winds like a coiled serpent, cutting deep into the valley floor. The landscape is breathtaking, yet treacherous. A place so remote and isolated it feels more like a fortress of the clouds than a human settlement. Built around 1450 AD, during the reign of the powerful Inca Emperor Pachacuti, Machu Picchu is a city of both beauty and strategy. More than 150 stone structures fill its boundaries. Temples, royal residences, storage houses, ceremonial platforms, and gathering spaces. Each was crafted with precision, their stones locked so tightly together that not even a blade of grass can slip between them. This construction method, known as ashlar masonry, required no mortar. The sheer skill involved continues to baffle engineers today. The Incas shaped enormous granite boulders, some weighing dozens of tons, and maneuvered them into place with techniques still not fully understood. Despite being built on an earthquake-prone mountainside, the structures have survived for centuries without collapsing. Where modern buildings would crumble, Machu Picchu's walls simply shift and resettle, their interlocking stones absorbing seismic shocks, like a puzzle designed by nature itself. Equally astonishing is the city's infrastructure. The Incas engineered terraces along the steep slopes, preventing erosion while creating farmland capable of sustaining the population. These terraces also acted as drainage systems, channeling rainwater safely away from the buildings. Intricate canals and fountains distributed fresh spring water throughout the city, a marvel of hydraulic engineering that ensured clean water even at dizzying altitudes. But Machu Picchu is not only an architectural feat. It is a place of spiritual and cultural resonance. Sacred plazas and temples were aligned with celestial events, reflecting the Incas' deep connection to astronomy. Certain stones and structures appear designed to track the solstices, while others may have been ritual spaces for offerings to the gods. To walk among its pathways is to step into a city that was as much about belief and power as it was about survival. Even today, Machu Picchu inspires awe not just because of its scale, but because of its mystery. Every wall, every terrace, every carefully carved step speaks of a civilization that saw the world differently, blending nature, spirituality, and engineering into something seamless. Yet, as magnificent as it is, the true purpose of this city remains elusive. a puzzle that continues to haunt historians and explorers alike. Why was Machu Picchu built? This question has fascinated scholars for over a century, and yet no definitive answer exists. Unlike many other great civilizations, the Incas left behind no written records to explain the intent behind their creations. Instead, their stories and knowledge were carried orally, leaving modern researchers with fragments, speculation, and clues carved in stone. Some argue that Machu Picchu was a royal retreat, a private sanctuary for Emperor Pachacuti and his court. Its location, hidden among the clouds and difficult to reach, supports the idea of a retreat shielded from enemies and prying eyes. The luxurious residences, temples, and ceremonial plazas suggest a space reserved for the elite. Others believe Machu Picchu served as a sacred spiritual center. Its alignment with astronomical events, such as solstices and equinoxes, implies that it may have been designed for ritual and celestial observation. Certain stones, shaped to mirror mountain peaks, seem to connect the city to the surrounding landscape in ways that transcend practicality. To the Incas, mountains were sacred beings, guardians of life and fertility. Machu Picchu may have been a place where the earthly and divine realms converged. A third theory proposes that the city was an experimental agricultural site. The terraces, built at different elevations, may have been used to test crops in varying climates, allowing the Incas to maximize yields across their empire. If true, Machu Picchu was not only a ceremonial hub but also a scientific one, where innovation secured survival. Despite these theories, none can fully explain why such a monumental effort was invested in a city so hidden from view. Why build something so advanced, so resource-intensive, in a location so difficult to reach? And if it was so important, why did the Incas ultimately abandon it? The lack of a clear answer adds to the city's mystique, keeping Machu Picchu less of a solved riddle and more of a timeless enigma. By the time the Spanish conquistadors arrived in Peru in the 1500s, Machu Picchu was already abandoned. This fact alone raises unsettling questions. Why would the Incas abandon such a remarkable city, one that was self-sustaining, strategically positioned, and spiritually significant? Historians have offered several possibilities. One theory suggests the site was deserted due to civil war. In the final decades of the Inca Empire, rival factions fought for control after the death of Emperor Huayna Capac. The resulting conflict may have forced the retreat from Machu Picchu. Another explanation points to disease. When Europeans arrived in South America, they brought with them deadly illnesses such as smallpox, which ravaged indigenous populations long before the conquistadors themselves reached every corner of the empire. It is possible that Machu Picchu's inhabitants were struck by an epidemic, leading survivors to abandon the site. Natural threats are another consideration. Machu Picchu sits on a precarious mountain ridge, prone to earthquakes, landslides, and water shortages. A sudden disaster, or the looming threat of one, could have forced the Incas to leave. Whatever the reason, when the last footsteps echoed through its stone pathways, Machu Picchu fell silent. The jungle soon claimed what the Incas left behind. Roots wrapped around walls, moss-softened stone staircases, and thick vegetation concealed entire structures. For nearly 400 years, the city disappeared into nature's embrace. Yet Machu Picchu was never entirely forgotten. Local farmers and villagers knew of its existence and kept its memory alive through stories passed down for generations. While the world at large had no idea such a marvel existed, the whispers of its presence never faded completely. It was a hidden treasure waiting for the moment. Someone beyond the local valleys would rediscover. The year was 1911, Yale. University historian and explorer Hiram Bingham. Three set out on an expedition into the remote Peruvian Andes. His goal was not Machu Picchu, but Vilcabamba, the last known refuge of the Inca after Cusco fell to the Spanish. Scholars had debated its location for years, and Bingham was determined to settle the question. The journey was grueling from the start. The Andes punished his team at every turn. The trails clung to steep cliffs, and a single misstep could mean a fatal plunge into the valleys below. The jungle resisted their every move. Vines tangled their path, insects swarmed relentlessly, and sharp branches tore at their clothing. At higher altitudes, the air grew thin and the winds cut through their skin like knives. Bingham's companions grew weary. Doubt gnawed at the team as they questioned whether the search was worth the suffering. Would they ever find Vilcabamba, or were they chasing a ghost lost to time? Still, Bingham pressed on, driven by an almost obsessive belief that something extraordinary lay ahead. Their turning point came thanks to a local farmer, Melchor Arteaga. He spoke of ancient ruins hidden in the mountains, a place where stone walls peeked through the jungle canopy. Guided by Arteaga, the group set out along treacherous paths. At points, they had to crawl on hands and knees to avoid slipping into the abyss. Yet Arteaga insisted that something important awaited. Then, on July 24, 1911, they arrived at a clearing. Through the dense overgrowth, Bingham glimpsed massive stone terraces. As the team hacked away the vegetation, more and more of the city came into view. Staircases climbed into the mist. Walls rose with impossible precision. An entire hidden city lay before them, untouched by centuries of time. Bingham was stunned. He had not found Vilcabamba, but something entirely different, something even greater. He later wrote that he could scarcely believe his eyes. How could a city of such scale and sophistication have been forgotten? How could it have remained hidden for nearly 4 centuries? Word of the discovery spread quickly, captivating the world. Machu Picchu was hailed as one of the most important archaeological finds of the 20th century. But while Bingham basked in the glory, controversy brewed. Many argued that local people had long known of the site and that Bingham had merely introduced it to the outside world. Still, there was no denying that his expedition had brought global attention to a marvel that had lain dormant under jungle growth. From that moment onward, Machu Picchu became a symbol of the Inca Empire's brilliance, a place that defied explanation and invited endless speculation. Yet even as researchers studied its walls and plazas, its true purpose remained hidden, just as it had for centuries. To understand why Bingham sought Vilcabamba, one must look at the final days of the Inca Empire. After the fall of Cusco in the 16th century, Inca resistance retreated deep into the jungle, establishing a new capital at Vilcabamba. There, Manco Inca and his descendants waged a guerrilla war against the Spanish. For decades they held out, launching raids and resisting foreign domination. But disease, starvation, and relentless Spanish pursuit eventually wore them down. In 1572, Spanish forces captured Vilcabamba and executed its last ruler, Tupac Amaru Y. His death marked the definitive end of the Inca royal line and the collapse of their empire. Because of this history, uncovering Vilcabamba became an obsession for scholars. To find it would be to discover the empire's final refuge, the place where its last chapter unfolded. This was the mystery that drew Bingham into the mountains. He believed he was on the verge of finding Vilcabamba. Instead, he stumbled upon Machu Picchu. Though it was not the lost city he sought, Machu Picchu's discovery was arguably even more significant. It provided a window into the Incas' golden age, not their decline. Where Vilcabamba represented desperation and survival, Machu Picchu embodied vision, power, and ingenuity. The irony remains striking. In searching for the empire's ending, Bingham found one of its greatest triumphs. Bingham's announcement ignited global fascination. Newspapers heralded the find as a lost city, a miracle of discovery. Scholars rushed to study its structures, while adventurers dreamed of retracing Bingham's path. Machu Picchu quickly became a symbol of the mysterious and the ancient, a place where history, myth, and imagination collided. Yet with little evidence and no systematic excavation in its early years, speculation ran rampant. Was it a fortress, a royal retreat, or a ceremonial site? Each theory seemed convincing, but none could be proven. In the absence of certainty, Machu Picchu became a canvas upon which every explorer painted their own vision of the Incas. This ambiguity only increased its allure. Tourists began flocking to Peru, drawn by the promise of walking through an untouched city in the clouds. Over time, Machu Picchu was recognized as one of the new 7 wonders of the world, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and an enduring symbol of human achievement. But beneath the admiration lingered the unanswered questions. Why was it abandoned? What was its true purpose? And what secrets still lay hidden beneath its stones? For decades, these questions seemed destined to remain mysteries. But in 2025, everything changed. Advanced geophysical investigations revealed something astonishing. Beneath Machu Picchu lies an extensive hidden foundation system, possibly containing sealed chambers. What had long been thought of as merely engineering genius may, in fact, conceal something deeper. Some researchers suggest these underground structures could have been ritual chambers, storage for sacred objects, or even tombs of Inca royalty. Others caution that opening them might disturb something the Incas deliberately hid. The revelation has forced experts to reconsider everything they thought they knew. If much of Machu Picchu is underground, then we may have only scratched the surface of its true scale and purpose. Perhaps the greatest secrets of the Incas remain buried, waiting for the moment they will be revealed. And so, the mystery continues. Machu Picchu remains a marvel of human ingenuity, a city in the clouds whose stones whisper stories of a lost empire. But with every discovery, one thing becomes clear. The Incas built more than just a city. They built a riddle carved into the mountains themselves, a riddle we are only beginning to understand. Even after centuries of study, the engineering of Machu Picchu continues to puzzle the modern world. The Incas possessed no iron tools, no written language, and no knowledge of the wheel as we understand it. And yet they shaped massive granite blocks with surgical precision. Some of these stones weigh more than 50 tons, yet they were cut and placed so flawlessly that even a thin sheet of paper cannot pass between them. How did they achieve this? Archaeologists suggest they may have used stone hammers to chip away at harder rock, a painstaking process requiring immense skill and time. Others believe they exploited natural fractures, carefully heating and cooling the stone to crack it along precise lines. But these explanations feel inadequate when faced with the sheer scale of Machu Picchu's stonework. Moving the blocks presents another riddle. Without wheels or draft animals suited for such tasks, how were these massive stones transported across uneven mountain terrain? Some argue they used ropes and ramps, but the logistics remain staggering. Modern engineers, given the same conditions, admit the feat would be nearly impossible without advanced machinery. Perhaps the greatest mystery lies not only in how the stones were shaped and moved, but in how they were designed to last. Earthquakes that would level modern cities merely shift Machu Picchu's walls, which then settle back into place, unbroken. The Incas did not build against nature. They built with it, creating structures that seemed to anticipate the mountain's movements. These unanswered questions have fueled speculation for decades. Was there a lost technology the Incas mastered and later forgot? Or did their genius simply come from an unmatched understanding of their environment? Whatever the truth, their engineering remains a marvel that continues to defy time. Machu Picchu was not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a spiritual and astronomical one. The city is filled with clues suggesting that its builders sought to connect heaven and earth, aligning their sacred spaces with the stars and the sun. At the heart of this mystery lies the Intihuatana stone, often called the hitching post of the sun. Carved with remarkable precision, this stone pillar aligns with the sun during the equinoxes. At specific times of the year, the shadows vanish, symbolically tying the sun to the earth. For the Incas, who worshipped Inti, the sun god, this was no mere coincidence. It was an act of devotion and cosmic harmony. Many of Machu Picchu's temples and windows also align with celestial events. The Temple of the Sun, with its curved walls and carefully placed windows, illuminates perfectly during solstices. The surrounding peaks, too, seem to echo the city's structures, as if the mountains themselves were part of the sacred design. This integration of architecture with the cosmos reveals the Incas' profound astronomical knowledge. They were not only builders, but also observers of the heavens, tracking celestial cycles with accuracy that rivals modern science. Some researchers argue that Machu Picchu was essentially a living observatory, a sacred site where priests and astronomers could study the skies while performing rituals to ensure balance in the world. To the Incas, the universe was not separate from daily life. It was interwoven with survival, agriculture, and spirituality. In this way, Machu Picchu may have served as a cosmic stage, a place where human life, natural forces, and divine will intersected. Its stones still whisper this truth to those who listen carefully, that the Incas built not only for the earth but also for the stars. While archaeologists search for facts, the people of the Andes hold on to stories. For centuries, oral traditions have preserved legends about Machu Picchu, legends that speak of hidden treasures, sacred spirits, and forbidden chambers. One myth tells of tunnels stretching from Machu Picchu all the way to Cusco, secret passageways used by priests and rulers to travel unseen. Some locals claim these tunnels still exist, sealed beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. Others whisper that they were intentionally hidden to protect sacred knowledge from the Spanish. Another story suggests that treasures of the Inca, gold, sacred artifacts, and even royal mummies were buried within the mountain itself. According to legend, these riches were hidden when news of the Spanish conquest spread, ensuring they would never fall into foreign hands. Some believe the underground chambers detected in 2025 may, in fact, hold these priceless relics. Beyond material treasures, there are tales of spirits guarding the site. The mountains surrounding Machu Picchu are considered apus, or sacred beings, watching over the people. Villagers speak of ghostly figures seen wandering the ruins at night, guardians ensuring that outsiders never fully uncover the city's secrets. For the Incas, myths were not simply stories. They were truths woven into daily life. To modern ears, these tales may sound like folklore, yet they hold symbolic meaning. Whether literal or metaphorical, they remind us that Machu Picchu was never just stone walls and terraces. It was a living, breathing place where the boundary between the human and the divine was blurred. Even today, the myths persist, passed from one generation to the next. They keep the mystery alive, suggesting that what we see at Machu Picchu is only the surface of something much deeper, something hidden, perhaps intentionally beyond our reach. As Machu Picchu grew in global fame, it also became a center of controversy. Hiram Bingham's 1911 expedition brought thousands of artifacts back to Yale University: ceramics, tools, bones, and fragments of daily life. For decades, Peru demanded their return, sparking a bitter international dispute. Only in the 21st century did many of these items begin to make their way back home, though questions remain about what was lost or damaged along the way. Tourism, too, has brought both prosperity and danger. Millions of visitors now travel to Machu Picchu every year, eager to walk its stone paths and breathe the mist of the Andes. But this influx comes at a cost. Heavy foot traffic erodes the stones, and the sheer volume of tourists strains the fragile ecosystem around the site. UNESCO has repeatedly warned that without strict management, Machu Picchu could face irreversible damage. The Peruvian government has since imposed limits, requiring timed entry tickets and controlled group sizes. Yet the balance between preserving the site and sharing it with the world remains delicate. Modern technology has also transformed exploration. Drones, LiDAR scanning, and 3D mapping have revealed details of Machu Picchu that were invisible to the naked eye. Entire hidden terraces and structures have been rediscovered, buried beneath vegetation. Still, with every new discovery comes renewed debate. How much should be uncovered,